you doing? Having fun? Good stuff, excellent. So, as you might be able to tell from my cut glass English accent, I'm not from Cotgrave. I'm not even from Nottingham. I'm from a place called Ipswich Town. Anyone heard of that? Good, well, maybe you have heard of it. You might have watched the TV show Britain's Toughest Pubs, or maybe you follow prolific prostitute serial killers on the news. Or maybe you're a football fan and you recognise it by its other name, Ipswich Town 0. So, to give you a bit of context, I will now show you where Ipswich exactly is in the Great British Isles. So, Scotland's the head, Cornwall's the feet. Let's just say a lot of shit comes out of Ipswich. So strap in for the next few minutes for some top quality banter. Thank you. So, it is a bit of a shithole now. Obviously I moved away from there. The pound shops are closing down, but it wasn't always like that. It was a nice place to grow up in like the 80s and 90s. I mean, we had a McDonald's. I think it's the only place you can buy food now is McDonald's, as they're everywhere. But I was lucky enough, or unlucky enough, to work there for 3 months in the 90s. Basically, I went out one night with my mates, heady night of Laser Quest and smoking Super Skunk. We end up in McDonald's having a Mega Mac meal, which has now been discontinued for health and safety reasons. Laughing our heads off, look at that massive pile of application forms on the counter. Who would work here? But the next morning, the joke was on me. Not just the Mega Mac meal I had to digest for an hour on the toilet, sorry. I come downstairs and my dad's standing there, kitchen table, with an application form one of my friends had put into my coat pocket and he'd found. He was pointing at it. So, to give you a bit of context, I was 16, I just finished my GCSEs, I had dreams of further higher education, and I just quit, or rather I was retired from being a paperboy. I mean, me walking in there with like a kind of, half a beard, bum fluff beard, and standing next to the other 13-year-olds, I was like the Gary Barlow's son of print media delivery. So I had to leave. So my dad turns to me and says, you fill this in, you get this job, or I'm kicking you out of the house. So that's quite motivating. Other things he used to say to me were things like, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. It's a great motivational speaker, my dad. I kind of wish the application form on the kitchen table was like a very well-paid job to read comics and eat crisps all day. I mean, I could have been anything with his backing. But, my dad, he's one of these people who's fair but firm. He kind of doesn't suffer fools gladly. Things he doesn't like are cats that shit in his garden, the foreigners, and my Uncle Melvin. Does anyone here know my Uncle Melvin? Me neither. He'd been ostracised from the family for about 30 years. Basically, when my dad was courting my mother, Uncle Melvin would be around. Every time it was his turn to get a round in or a pint in, he'd disappear to the toilets or would forget his wallet. So, my dad's feud with Uncle Melvin has lasted, it's over a pint of Kestrel lager, which has lasted probably 20 years more than the actual disgusting fizzy lager itself, but there we go. So, growing up with my dad, it was quite hard to bond with, but we always enjoyed kind of watching films together, Star Wars, things like that. I come home from uni, and the future of cinema, 3D cinema, remember that? You'd pay an extra £10, get to wear some massive shades and get a migraine every time you turned your head like that, every few seconds. So like, right, Dad, let's go watch The Hobbit, you love Tolkien. So yeah, okay. So we get in there, and I don't know, probably like an hour into the film, the hobbits are messing around, and Gandalf's there, so get up, you've got to get out now. We're going to go and get killed by a dragon or something like that. And he's getting more and more angry, and I'm looking at my dad, and what happened next was, I don't know if my dad was just being angry, or he was triggered by memories of me and my sister dicking around, and he was shouting at us to get out of the house. But Gandalf stands up, and he's like, move, get out of the house. And at the exact same time, my dad looks, stands up, and goes, move, you bastard. Basically, the future of cinema had confused my dad so much, he thought, instead of 3D, Ian McKellen, Gandalf standing up. It was someone blocking his view. And he really wanted them to sit the fuck down. So like, people start turning around. Like, Dad, that's Gandalf. That is the future of cinema. What? Like, Dad, please sit down. Like, that's Ian McKellen. You like him? What? He was Magneto in the X-Men. What? You sit down now, I'll take you to Spoons, I'll get you a pint. No one will stand up in front of you in Spoons, we all know that. And so we did. He got a pint, and no one stood up in front of him. He was very happy, as was I. But then I was thinking, a bit later on, the other future of cinema, streaming services, comes out. And I think, well, my dad would probably knock anyone out if I'm not there with him to calm him down. Like the guy in the foyer will mess up his popcorn or something. That's a death sentence for him. So I'm like, what I'll do is I'll give him my password, create him an account, see how that goes for him. He can't call anyone else an arsehole if he's at home alone in his house. Unless my mum walks in the room, I don't know, but that's another story. So after a few months, I ring him up. I'm like, how are you finding Netflix, Dad? You enjoying it? He's like, yeah, some good stuff on there, boy. Yes, some good films on there. I like it. I'm like, good. And then I'm like, well, he seems pretty chilled out. This is working. So I thought, why don't I have a look on his account, see what he's been watching? And so, he's really into war films, war documentaries, Hitler films, Hitler documentaries, Nazis, Brexit, Farage. Tried to get American citizenship to vote for Trump, but that didn't matter, did it? So I go on his account, and I'm like, what is this? It's a true story. Never seen it again. There's a category on Netflix called Steamy Movies. Yeah. He's watching all these films, not for long, like 20 minutes in, he turned it off, watched another one. Fast forward through it, He got the plot point, I guess. A young American girl goes to Paris on her gap year and discovers herself. A young French girl goes to America on her gap year and discovers herself. Oh, okay. And so I knew my dad, big fan of Sean Bean in Sharp, Sean Bean in Game of Thrones, Sean Bean in Lady Chatterley's Lover. Okay. I never made the connection before, but yeah, what a time to be alive. Algorithms are wonderful. And so have you been. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Take care.